My name's Ehsan Zafar. I'm the founding executive director of the Difference Engine. It's a new center at ASU that helps communities reduce social, political, and economic inequality. It's an ASU-wide center. It's open to all students and faculty. And we do this work by involving students and faculty in creating actual tangible products that communities can use to reduce inequality. When the United States was founded, 250 some years ago, the population of what is now Houston, modern-day Houston, was spread out over 13 colonies. That was a very different time. And the Constitution was written, mostly by a large group of literate, land-owning white men. And everybody else who didn't meet that category was left out. We live in a very different country today. That doesn't mean that, for instance, the rights that are outlined in the Constitution aren't relevant. If anything, we've seen over the last year or so, those rights are still relevant. What the country needs and what young people need to start thinking about and learning, and there's a real thirst for this, is how do you respond to the public policy challenges of today? Why is it that if there's a woman in a public park and she's stopped from saying something, a legion of civil rights lawyers like myself will descend and represent her for free? But God forbid she asks for a living wage or housing. She doesn't have a right to those things. That means we have to start thinking differently about how we meet the needs of our population, a very different population than existed 250 years ago with very different needs. What that requires is some innovative thinking. And that's the kind of work that the Difference Engine is going to do, is to create products in projects led by students, involving faculty and the wider ASU community, real tangible products that these communities can use to address inequalities that the current system of laws and public policy and private sector thinking have left unaddressed. We call it the Difference Engine because it's inspired by a story of Ada Lovelace, who was a computer programmer. She was a woman. And Charles Babbage, who was a computer engineer. Both of them worked together during the late 1800s when the Industrial Revolution was just picking up steam. Sorry for the bad pun. And the computer that they designed, they called it the Difference Engine, and it was designed to tackle some of the preeminent social problems of its time. This story appealed to me because it was one of the earliest examples of an actual product that was created by a woman and a man during a time when men and women did not work together. At that time, women did not always receive the opportunity to excel in this way. And it was a product that, it was a computer that was used to do good. It was an engine that made a difference. And that's what we hope that the Difference Engine, this academic center we're starting at ASU, will also be. That it will create actual products that communities can use to make a difference, to reduce the effects of social, political, and economic inequality in their communities. When I was growing up, it was the educators in my life who taught me some of the skills that you don't learn as an immigrant. They also instilled in me a desire to be of service. If I'm going to do some work, it should have an impact in the lives of people. When I get to the end of my life, what is the good that I've achieved in the world? What is the difference I've made in the world, right? I'm a civil rights lawyer by training, came to this country like many others as a refugee, and experienced my share of discrimination. And that's one of the reasons why the work of the Difference Engine appeals to me specifically. And I'm really looking forward to doing some amazing work with the center and with ASU students and faculty.